are foreign governments inflating these conversations on certain social media apps to cause more disruption in America and make it seem like we're all real fighting?
Yes.
But in reality, I don't think many people are even thinking about Jews. Like, I don't even think it's part of their average conversation. I think the average person isn't even...
Let me see if Chris is honest. Who are the countries, Chris?
China and Russia.
Okay, just making sure you didn't leave China out. It's true, though.
Yeah.
Maybe 60 Russia, 40 China.
But still, like...
China's smart enough to let Russia do all the heavy lifting, and then they just add a little...
Bro, there was an episode where Rogan had this guy on, Daryl Cooper. He's this historian, and he has different takes on things, and I understand there's criticism for his takes, and you should be able to criticize every single person that puts something out on the internet for consumption. I'm totally fine with that. You can look at it and say it's not factually accurate. Of course, all these things. But the way that Twitter reacted to this, you would think that it was like a Rogan episode where he has Elon on or Kanye on or Trump on, where it's just hundreds of millions of views because of the amount of discussion. And then I went and I saw the episode, and it's like a low-performing episode for Rogan, for like what Rogan can generate. So I saw that, and I'm like, hold on, are we being tricked or manipulated? Or is somebody else inflating the level of this content? And it's a very important thing to key into.
We know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Well, this ain't shit that we are discussing. Like, this shit is, we know this for a fact.
Yes, but the average person might not. Sorry, Chris.
Russia's figured out something, which I think, is smart, but unfortunate for us, which is it's a lot easier to invade a country and a lot more cost effective to invade a country via social media than it is with tanks
100%.
or drones or soldiers on the ground.
Yep.
They've already invaded.
You could sway public sentiment because unfortunately, there's a lot of creators out there that aren't creating authentically. They're creating algorithmically. Like, whatever the algorithm seems to serve, they just start creating that shit. So a lot of these people that like some of you guys are like following and like consuming their content, they don't even believe that shit. They just made a video and it got views. So they're like, oh, this is my identity now. They're plastic bags in the wind. But now to know that those views aren't even real and it's just China or Russia inflating to make it seem bigger than it actually is, go.
But what happens is they reach a certain inflection point, and then what happens is the
people take it over.
It creates its own momentum, and then it is real.
It does become. You hear what he said, Israel. Yeah. So they always slide it in. This is what happens a lot of times with music, right? It's like you can make a song go #1, and then sometimes the people see it at #1, and then they like the song, and now the song takes off on its own.
Yeah.
But it is something that we should be aware of, and the American people should at least be aware of. When you see that much conversation about something on one social media platform, and then you don't really see it anywhere else, it's something to key into, in my personal opinion.
And that's why I said this thing about
astroturfing, I think is the name for it.
I don't know. Probably astrogliding, because they fucking you in that. But here's the thing. This is what I would say, right? I was talking about...
I should have never taught you about homosexuality. I regret it.
The pro-Palestinian crowd, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it was more conversations around that during the election. They was disrupting Kamala's campaign rallies.
And now all of a sudden...
They were saying things like, there's no way you could pick Josh Shapiro as your running mate because he's Jewish, Zionist. Like, there was... Now, but after...
Think about this. Go.
Trump is talking about literally ethnic cleansing.
Wait, what?
Yes. He's literally talking about ethnic cleansing.
Wait, where? What are we talking about?
In Gaza.
Oh, yes. Got it.
He's talking about Mara Gaza. So, building hotels on the beach. Where is that crowd now to be at Trump?
So check it out, right? This is actually this is really interesting. Who does that serve the most? That fracturing of the Democratic Party over that issue serves who the most?
The far left?
The Republican Party.
Sure.
Right? Because, if the Democrats are fractured on an issue, they can't all get behind this one dude or chick, i.e. Kamala, right? Mm-hmm. Some of them go, I'm not going to even vote. Some of them might even go, you know what, I'm going to go with Trump because it looks like he's going to make a ceasefire. So who is this an advantage for? Now, could it come from the conservatives, or could it come from other countries that feel like they might have a better shot of getting what they want if there is Trump in office? These are the type of things that, like, we don't know exactly what it is, but you can at least look at the marketplace and know that you're potentially being manipulated. This is good shit Americans should know. Is that a fair assessment? I try not to be biased.
I believe it 99%. it happened.
100.
100%.
Still happening, I think.
And, the irony is this is the playbook that we've run on other countries over the years.
I'm not saying that we're not guilty of it, too.
Yeah, we've gone into Guatemala, we've gone into Iran, we've gone into a million places and pitted different factions against each other.
I'm not saying
and
that
We know somebody whose parents work in PSYOPS. We're whispering. I don't want to put it out there. But their parents work in PSYOPs.
Really?
Yes. And so it's like, first of all, we already knew this, but when you know somebody who works in PSYOPs,
right,
they'll tell you, we've been doing this to other countries for
years.
Decades.
Yeah.
Now other countries are doing it to us.
So just be aware of what you're consuming.
The far left should have been the most activated and organized against Trump, and they were completely missing. And I believe it's because, I don't feel right saying that Gaza is a distraction, because Gaza is a very real thing and very real things are happening.
Absolutely.
But it was a distraction to the far left.
You can't make me believe that a bunch of people in Dearborn, Michigan thought that Donald Trump would be better on Gaza.
Right.
Than any Democrat. Now, by the way, everybody's going to always support Israel. Like there's nobody.
He did get a ceasefire. You can't say that he isn't more.
Yeah, but at what price is there going to be a ceasefire?
I don't know, but the ceasefire did happen. We have to at least acknowledge that.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, you got to give it up to where it is.
If you want to do a ceasefire, yeah, but then if you're saying we're going to take these 2 million people from Gaza and move them other places, they don't want that either.
Oh, of course not. But they weren't pitching that during the election or during the what's it called? During the campaign.
What's going to happen after the ceasefire is going to be the real tell.
Absolutely. But this is more of a discussion of how are you manipulated and how can we tell we're being manipulated? Like we even found out that, and this is fact, there was a Russian company that was paying prominent YouTubers to push.
Drop the list.
They did.
It was, who was it?
We talked about this.
Tim Pool was one of them. Now, he remains that he did not know that was the influence.
Because they funneled it through different...
Exactly. And I believe that too.
I believe that.
But think about it like this. You have to look at this and you have to go, okay, you might not know, but why are they targeting your opinion?
Because of your platform.
They not giving us money because they know we're not saying the shit that's sympathetic. Right? Like they are targeting people that they believe to be sympathetic to their cause, and they were rewarding them making videos about that specifically to influence people in our country.
Tucker Carlson.
Was Tucker on the list?
If Tucker should be the list.
Well, hold on. Was he? This is.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't remember. But there was another study that talked about how they'll send these bad faith. They'll send these bad faith actors to shows. Like they look. They were talking about these bad faith actors they send to shows to target the show's audience. Breakfast Club was on that list, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't think that these people are necessarily bad faith actors.
Who'd they send?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think people are bad faith actors. They just believe what they believe. Mm-hmm. Like Vivek Ramaswamy or Larry Elder or Laura Trump, they believe what they believe.
They're called useful idiots.
Or maybe they're just called conservatives.
Well, sure. I guess what I'm saying is they're useful to their cause. I don't believe Vivek is an idiot. I don't believe Larry is an idiot. Of course not. These are brilliant people. But if a foreign government feels like they're more sympathetic to their cause, then they're going to try to do anything they can to inflate their opinions.
Yeah.
And that's okay too if you believe in those opinions. You want them inflated. You just got to be careful who they're being inflated by.
Yeah, that's why it's funny when and I know you didn't say that they're idiots, but when people do use those terms and they go, "Oh, he's a useful idiot," isn't that? The idiots won.
So
who's really the idiot?
I think they should call them useful geniuses.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they're effective.
Who's really the idiot? If they're able to message and communicate what it is they believe in more, if they're able to make the American people believe what they believe in more, or even believe like they're the better option, who's really the idiot?
Yep.
We are.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think we're just uninformed, and I think that like what happened to a lot of us is like we became disillusioned by like traditional media. So we went to podcasts to start telling us the truth, and we figured, well, there's no way the podcast could be influenced because these are just people that are researching stuff on their own, and they are just disseminating that information to the people. They're honest, they're truthful. Well, you know what happens? Once podcasters start making real money, they're susceptible to getting paid
the
for
same
shit.
forces that manipulated mainstream media now are manipulating whatever this is.
I got another. I agree with that too. I got another perspective. My perspective is people love crews, right? But they love when your crew is solid.
Mm-hmm.
If your crew looks splintered in any way, shape, or
gonna take advantage of
form,
that shit.
I don't want to be a part of that. One thing you can say about Republicans, they always look solid because they always are on the same page with shit. Regardless of what they say about each other in the media, whatever, when it comes to that vote, they're all going to vote down the line. Democrats don't do that. We just saw it last week, right? We just saw it last week. Well, whether it's 10 Democrats voting to censure Al Green or Chuck Schumer and who else? Fetterman. It was like 8 other Democrats who I think Gillibrand. They all decided, hey, you know what? We're going to vote with Republicans on this bill that they told us was terrible.
But
Sorry,
go.
Don't tell me something is terrible.
And then support it.
Don't tell me something is bad.
I agree.
Don't tell me it's the worst thing for the American people, but then vote for it. How about negotiate, Chuck?
I completely agree with you there, which is misleading to the people, right? You tell us one thing and then you go, it's the same criticism.
Within days.
Yeah.
Within a day.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's the same criticism you had for the politicians that were calling Trump Hitler
That's right.
and then were chumming it up with him. I get that too. But what I do think is very important is that we actually are not so politically rigid. Like, I admire somebody who is critical of their own party and will vote with the opposition if they think it's in the best interest for the country. And I think Republicans should do that more, and I think Democrats should do that more. It'd be great if it wasn't so polarizing.
I think those 8 Democrats like the bill. And if you like the bill, tell me what you like about the bill.
And then maybe I'll like it too.
That's right.
If you feel confident in the bill and you feel like it's in the best interest of Americans, tell me why.
That's right. Don't tell me that the bill is terrible.
So that you
hate
pacify
the bill,
me.
But I gotta vote for it.
No.
Why? No, you don't. You can negotiate. Use your motherfucking leverage. You voted for that bill, Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand and Fetterman, because you like the bill.
Yeah.
Don't tell me otherwise.
And you know who?
If you tell me otherwise, I'm looking at you crazy.
You lost our trust.
That's it.
You had our trust, but then you lied to us.
Come on, man.
You have to explain to us why you're doing the things you're doing. And if you say you're doing one thing and then you flip when the vote comes, why would I believe anything else you say?
If you got a homeboy,
talk to me.
And there's a suspicion that he's gay.
Yeah.
You don't know this for sure.
Yeah.
But then you walk in one day and you see him sucking a.
Yeah.
You see it.
Yeah.
But he's looking at you saying, I'm not gay.
Yeah. I'll be like, well, do you have to get a spending bill passed? I'll be like, this guy's a patriot. He'll do anything for this country.
Greatest show on goddamn earth. Don't you ever motherfucking think
It is.
Brilliant This is the greatest motherfucking podcast on earth. You're going to rewind that and then you're going to catch it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? Let's pay some bills.